Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Vanessa, also known as Read with Dr. B. In today's video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I read during the first week of ARC August. If you are not familiar with the term ARC, it's an acronym that stands for Advanced Reader's Copy. We also have another term called ALC, which is Advanced Listener's Copy. During this first week, I was able to read and or listen to 14 NetGalley ARCs. So some of these are a combination of manga, children's books, and then full-length novels. So I'm not going to go too into depth for some of these. They were more of like score boosters, if you will. But I want to talk about a couple that I really liked over this last week. I read 4 children's books, so I'm just going to kind of go over those really quickly. So we have Royal Best Friend Queen Bee by Preeti Birla Maheshwari. We have Super Magic Boy I Am a Space Tiger by Jared Rossello. Onion Boy and the Backyard Bully by Damel Garcia. And lastly, True Friendship by Jack Gee. So the one I really liked was Onion Boy and the Backyard Bully because it actually had a super cute, like kid-friendly way of talking about like adventure, empathy, and friendship, just as like it was advertised on Goodreads. But the storyline introduced like a problem. So this Onion Boy is getting bullied by this like computer thing that needs to be updated essentially. It talks about the feelings that Onion Boy had, and then it goes through some problem solving of what Onion Boy can do to kind of like figure out how to get this bully to stop bullying him. The graphics were also super adorable, very easy to follow. So if you have kids, this one is highly recommended. And I would say like from a therapist standpoint, I think it's a little bit better than some children's books that they try to talk about like mental health and feelings. Like I really liked this one, and it would be something if I were to do therapy with little kids, I would likely invest in a book like this. I kind of read / looked through a anime cookbook called The Anime Cafe, 50 Iconic Treats, Snacks, and Drinks from Your Favorite Anime. This was actually really good. My favorite was the like Doug Trio sandwiches. I'll put like a little picture up here, but it was definitely an adorable cookbook for anybody who likes anime. Like you could definitely see some of the anime character inspiration throughout each of the recipes, which I loved. So I would definitely make the Doug Trio sandwich with the creamy tomato soup. I read 4 manga or graphic novels. So we have Kusunoki's Flunking Her High School Glow Up Volume 1. This is by Mitsuki Mi. I rated this 4 stars. I had some issues with this one, like Kusunoki didn't really get social cues and was very like clingy towards this other student that they ended up becoming friends. Overall, I really liked the story. It was really cute, and I would be interested in reading the second volume in the future just to kind of see what Kusunoki and Shizuki's budding friendship, likely romantic relationship, will be like. We have Sub-Zero Volume 1. This one was super pretty. If you like dragons and enemies to lovers trying to save a kingdom by like forming a bond through marriage, this one might be for you. The illustrations alone were just so pretty. I also read Puppies Attract Volume 1. So this one's super cute and cozy. It's about 2 dog owners who kind of keep running into each other, and there's also some like stuff at the end that goes into a little bit of their dogs, the stats and stuff of their dogs, if you will, and the dog owners themselves. The last graphic novel manga that I read was That Beauty is a Tramp Volume 1. I was kind of intrigued because the title sounded interesting, but also the cover looked really pretty, and I will say the color illustrations in this one were really nice, and I would have loved if the rest of it was that way, but I know not every graphic novel or manga has time to dedicate color to all their pictures. But the story was kind of weird. The male character looks more androgynous, so people have mistaken him for a woman, but he is very into the female main character. But what really just like put me off with this was that the main male character was kind of pushy. Like, I get he was trying to be like showing his interest in her, but it honestly came off as kind of rapey. So I didn't really like that, especially because like at the beginning the girl talks about being assaulted, and I was like, I don't think she wants that, but then she clearly wanted that. So like, I don't know, it was just kind of a weird book. I didn't give that one very high ratings. And then the last couple of books that I want to talk about, I'm going to go from worst to best because I want to save the best for last. So I read The Deading, or at least 30% of The Deading. So I gave this one a 1 star, unfortunately. I couldn't get into it, even though the synopsis sounded really, really interesting. It was just so boring. I was literally falling asleep listening to it. So I did hear from some other people who have read this that it does pick up at like 35-40%. I just couldn't hang with it. Maybe I'll give it a shot in the future, but for now it was just not a story for me. The next one is Heart Restoration Project. This is by Beth Merlin and Danielle Modafferi. I give this one 2.75 stars. So again, another book that was incredibly boring until about 80%, and I would have DNF'd it if it wasn't an arc, even though I just like DNF'd the other one. That one was just super duper boring. The beginning of the story is essentially about Plum, who is a cast member on several reality TV shows. She gets her next calling to like restore this historical home in France. She goes to France, she meets her co-host and falls in love. And then you start to kind of find out the real reason behind the show. Then she quickly shifts gears into falling in love with the cameraman, which we didn't even get any like backstory about them. It just happened. And I was like, well, okay, like, yeah, that happens in real life where you just kind of like fall for someone. But we didn't get any of their romance. We got like this fake romance from the other people, which was meh. And then just kind of like some betrayal from a supposed friend. Like, I don't know. It was helpful to have the audiobook for this one, so I had both the ebook and the audiobook for this. But the audiobook was really good. Like, the narrator was really good with the French pronunciations of things. So it was a great addition to reading the ebook, but overall it wasn't maybe a story for me that I would recommend. Okay, the next one, The Players Club by Fallon Greer. I did like this one. It was a 3.5 stars. So first of all, don't go into this thinking it is a hockey romance, because it's not, even though the cover looks like it. There is literally one hockey scene in this book where you have them playing hockey, but otherwise the main character is just on a hockey team. It actually reminded me a lot of 50 Shades of Grey, where you have Elodie Andrews, who's the main female character. She doesn't really know anything about the BDSM lifestyle, and I think she's also a reporter trying to get some like scoop on Cole Mackenzie, aka Mac. He ends up like really liking her and gets her to sign a contract. They go through like what they like and don't like. You have this backstory of Mac having like a relationship with an older woman from the past who ends up coming back into his life. So it's very like similar to 50 Shades of Grey, but I think it was written a little bit better. But overall, I really liked the story. So 3.5 stars. It was spicy a couple times throughout the book. So if you like spice, you like some sports, you like BDSM, okay. I also read Blood Like Mine. This is by Stuart Neville. I gave this one 4 stars. It's very much like a cat and mouse thriller chase kind of book. So this one is with Rebecca and Monica, or Moonflower, who are on the run in an attempt to survive. And the story is told from multiple POVs, including from Rebecca's journal entries. So you don't really start to understand what is going on until about 50% into the book, when the twist is revealed. One of the things I really liked about this was like the Dexter vibes that you get, where there certain people are targeting bad people in society, you know, like your pedophiles, your murderers, your rapists, like those kinds of people, and exacting revenge on them, or just doing them in, essentially. So that one was very interesting. I don't want to say too much about it because I think if I say one word, it will kind of give away what is happening in the book. So I would recommend reading it if you're in a thriller, mystery kind of mood, more thriller mood. Okay, and then probably my most favorite book of the week, as a lot of people know because I've been talking about it, I gave The Deer and the Dragon by Piper CJ a 4.5 star. So this one also I put like on Goodreads one pepper, because I felt like it had some spice. It had 2 spice scenes, but it wasn't like the spiciest ever. It wasn't there to be a spicy book. But this one, just a heads up as you go in, there are no dragons, okay? So I'm going to read you something off of the author's Instagram. She has a post that says, dragons were used as imagery for Satan, Leviathan, hell, and evil. In the Hebrew Bible, the New Testament, and again throughout the Renaissance period, symbolic dragon imagery was prevalent in paintings and iconography as a stand-in for the devil. So again, even though it says something about dragons in the title, there are no dragons, okay? But Marlowe is a human sex worker who becomes an author. She has become a very successful author, which you later find out is due to the main male character. She believes that she is crazy because she keeps seeing the Prince of Hell, Caliban, keep visiting her. He's visited her throughout her whole life. She decides, I just want to live a freaking normal life, and banishes Caliban. Well, she wasn't happy with that decision, and she goes on this quest to find him. One of the best characters in this book is Fauna. When you meet Fauna, I think that's where the real story begins. So if you met Fauna, leave a deer emoji in the comments. Later, we find out that Caliban and Marlowe have actually been fated lovers, mates for many cycles, many human cycles. It actually made me think of Elena and Damon from the Vampire Diaries, like if you know, you know. Throughout the story, Marlowe is trying to find where the heck Caliban is, and she's thrown in the midst of this war between these gods, angels, demons. Like, it's a wild ride, and at the end of this book, you are left on a cliffhanger. But the next one is called The Fox and the Falcon. It comes out in 2025. You best believe I'll be reading it. This is a book that I will definitely be getting the physical book for. But yeah, if you haven't picked up this book and you really like fantasy, more so like gods and things like that, this is definitely a book for you. Those are all of the books that I read this week. Let me know if you've also read any of these books and what you thought about them. I'm very excited to get into this next week. I don't think I'll be reading as many books just because a lot of the ones from this past week were children's books, graphic novels, and the like. But I do hope to get a big chunk knocked off. My stats went from 43% at the start of the week to 50%. It went down to 49% this morning because I got approved for another book. So yeah, it's the life of NetGalley, but going up 6-7 points is not a bad thing at all. I'm very excited to see where this next week brings me in terms of what I read and bumping up my NetGalley feedback ratio. Thank you guys for clicking on today's video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!